Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. On behalf of the Alpha Omega Council, I would like to welcome all of the students, their guests, educators, local and state officials, and the Council of Greece in Boston. My name is Paul Tsotsopoulos, President of the Alpha Omega Council of Boston. For those of you not familiar with our organization, we are a nonprofit, philanthropic, and service organization established in Boston in 1976. Our mission includes promoting loyalty and patriotism to the United States and cultivating the ideals of Hellenism by supporting various religious, charitable, scientific, literary, and educational activities throughout the United States. This evening, we are honored to bring together all of you to celebrate exceptional essays from 7th and 8th grade students of Hopkinton and Ashland. It is an evening that highlights the importance of freedom, of democracy, and the importance of civics and education. Alpha Omega is proud of the partnership between the Alpha Omega Council and the 26.2 Foundation in this programming. And before I finish, I would like to congratulate and thank all of their students, their parents, and especially the educators who, without the support and dedication, these tremendous essays would not have been possible. So thank you and welcome. Now please welcome Tim Kilduff, President of the 26.2 Foundation.
So I'm going to take a point of personal privilege for just 1 minute. Nick Cordes is extremely passionate about the work that all of you have done. Nick has an undergraduate degree from the Classics Department at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. He also has a law degree at Harvard. He's a past president of the Alpha Omega Society, but he really drove this process. He started this essay contest several years ago. So would you join me in thanking Nick? So we have a little organization, happens to be founded in Hopkinton, called the 26.2 Foundation. Without spending a lot of time on that, we have a big vision for Metro West, and that is to build an international marathon center about a half a mile from the starting line in Hopkinton on the marathon course. But what you have done is going to be a key component of the International Marathon Center. We have come to understand that there's more to the marathon than running 26.2 miles. And if one just takes a moment, as you have, and think back to ancient Greece, that's really, in the Battle of Marathon, is really essentially the spiritual beginning of the marathon run. And you studied that. So the work that you're doing really, it allows people to reflect a little bit. We have a friend of ours, a professor from BU, Dr. Sammons, who believes that every person who runs a marathon makes a personal statement about freedom. So it may not have settled in totally yet with all of you, but this little experience and this little essay contest will serve you well to think about how you can translate this into civics education. And I don't know how much time you watch in the news at night, but the need for people who understand civics and how people should interact with each other in a courteous way is something that's really topical now. So from the Foundation's point of view, we really appreciate your work, and we're quite frankly privileged to be associated with the Alpha Omega Council and the work that they do.
So we will begin our program. I will just make a few short remarks about the marathon education program and maybe a little background. And some of this is in the booklets that you have. As you may know, there is a marathon wreath ceremony every April when the wreaths that are used to crown the winners of the Boston Marathon are cut from the plains of Marathon, Greece, and then dipped in gold and then brought to the United States by the Greek government and given to the Boston Athletic Association at a ceremony specially for that purpose, and then those wreaths crown the winners. And we have today, and I hope you take one with you, a copy of the brochure from that event that happens on the Thursday before the marathon. But just in a thumbnail sketch, in 490 BC, the Athenians had invented their democracy. They had decided that every individual, at that time it was an individual male, who lived in the city, regardless of their status, had the right to express an opinion and have it counted equally with all those around him. And that was a shocking idea at the time, shocking even within the Greek world, that the Athenians had created that concept. But that was the concept. But it wasn't long before the Persian Empire, which was at the time the largest empire in the world, had decided they just kind of wanted to swallow up little Greece and add it to their empire. And they arrived on the shores of Marathon to just conquer Greece. Now, at that time in the ancient world, when you were faced with overwhelming odds of that kind, usually you did two things with your city. You either abandoned it or you surrendered it. And there was something in that Athenian mind after they started practicing democracy that said, we are not surrendering our city and we are not abandoning it. And we're going to go and fight for what we have here because we like the way we live now and we will not live under the way things used to be where might makes right and we don't have a say in our individual lives and affairs. And so they went out to Marathon, they surprised the Persians, they beat them, they had no idea who these people were and why they were fighting so hard, and don't they know we're the Persians and we're just going to destroy them. Well, it didn't work out that way. And after several battles, the Persians decided the Athenians were crazy and they went home. And what followed for the next 100 years was the flowering of democracy and a lot of the things that we know and love. Democracy, theater, science, public education, a lot of the beauty and set forth in architecture, public buildings, juries, elections, term limits. They even had a peculiar institution called ostracism, in which if they thought somebody was getting too kind of big for their britches and a little dangerous to the democracy, they'd kick them out of the city for a while so that they didn't destroy the balance of what was happening within Athens. And the interesting thing about the Athenians too, and the kind of democracy they had, it was a direct democracy. And I know that our 7th and 8th graders know that. But when somebody in Athens voted to go to war, they weren't voting to send somebody else. When they voted to go to war, they were voting to send themselves, their father, their brother, their son, their cousin. It was a direct democracy because they understood that their survival required each of them to take every decision personally and that they bear the responsibility for every decision they made. So that's a big difference from how we live in America today, but it would be hard to have a direct democracy with 330 million people. But, you know, in Massachusetts we have 351 cities and towns, and we do practice direct democracy in our towns. And so what started in Athens still lives in our 351 towns. And that's very important. So one of the things that's most concerning to many people is the lack of civics education. In most of the United States, civics are barely taught. There's only 8 states in the country that administer statewide civics exams to graduate. A lot of people believe that the reason young people don't vote as they should is because they don't feel ready to vote. They don't feel they know enough to vote. Well, I'm 62 years old, and I could tell you that there's a lot of people between the ages of 18 and 62 who don't know anything about voting and don't know what they should vote for, but they do. And it becomes a popularity contest. It becomes a how many ads do you see contest. There's no reason why our 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds shouldn't be voting just as much as everybody else. In fact, they should be voting at a higher percentage because they have the most at stake. The people who are older than you in 4 or 5 years, when you're old enough to vote, they're fashioning the world you're going to live in. And so it's very important that we teach our young people about civics so that they're ready to create the world they want to create for themselves. And we're very lucky here in Massachusetts. We have some very progressive and committed educators. I'm born and raised in Massachusetts, and sometimes I have to remind myself of how lucky we are to have the schools and teachers that we have here. We now have a full year civics course in the 8th grade. And it's very important. It's as important as anything else, because like math and like science and all the other things we need to learn, the system we live in and how we're going to relate to one another, it's as important as anything else. So I want to thank the educators in the room. I want to thank the parents who encouraged their children to participate in the contest. I want to thank you for writing these essays. And it gets us all thinking. And there's a chapter of the Athenian democracy that we have to remember as well. The Athenian democracy ended at one time. It ended. Kind of ran out of gas. They didn't tend to it properly. They let things get a little out of control. They elected people who were not committed to the idea of democracy. And ultimately, after some 100 years or so, they lost their democracy. We didn't see democracy like this until 1776 again. And when the American Revolution started and Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, he had the Athenians and the Athenian democracy in mind. So as Americans, we are the inheritors of these ideas, and we have a duty to promote them throughout the world as best as we can, but certainly starting in our own homes as we go forward. So that's just a little bit of an introduction as to why we think this is so important and why we're so happy that the school systems of Ashland and Hopkinton allowed us to help add this enrichment. I would like at this time to invite the Consul General of Greece to come forward. Mr. Simeon Tegos is the representative of the Republic of Greece in the United States. Boston is very lucky to have as many consulates as it does, and the Greek consulate in Boston is very important because of the connection between ancient Greece and the American Revolution, which started right here in Boston. Mr. Tegos is a career diplomat with over 22 years experience on a wide range of issues. He served at the United Nations in Latin America, in Turkey, and at the Greek Permanent Mission in New York with the United States. Most recently, he was the Director of Political Affairs for the Greek government in Thrace. He's very happy to be here to say hello to students and to congratulate you on your achievement. Mr. Tegos?
First of all, I would like to start by congratulating the students. Great job, guys. I read most of your work. I know it takes some bravery to participate in this kind of initiative those days. Of course, I have to congratulate the parents as well, because I know it takes some extra leap of faith to convince your children at this strange times we're living in to actually read some history, mostly Greek history. But you know, Greeks can talk about their history for hours, so don't get me started. Nick put the context. The Battle of Marathon and the run of Philippides is a very symbolic episode of the Persian Wars, you know. It was the first time that free citizens decided to go to protect their city. It was another free citizen that ran the whole 26.2 miles to Athens to let them know that Menikikamin, that means we won. The last episode of the Persian War was actually another battle. It was the Battle of Plataea, 479. Like 12 years later, where the united army of the Spartans, Athenians, Plataeans, Corinthians, and many others destroyed what was left of the Persians there. There was this incident when the Greeks, when they won this final battle, they went to the tent of the Persian generals, and they found gold and so many riches that they were making jokes with each other. It's actually, I think the Thucydides wrote about it, and they were wondering why on earth they came to conquer Greece when they have so much money. And the reason was values. Those values that you wrote about incredibly well was what they were fighting for. And somehow those values are relevant today. They still are the same values. It's absolute power against democracy. It's darkness against the light. It's the usual fight that sometimes we all give in everyday life. And it's so American, because in this beautiful, incredible country of yours, the echo of these values found a very beautiful home. And one of the many reasons I'm very proud to do that today with you is you are the future, and those values are going to continue with you. There's a big debate about education those days. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to tell you that there is nothing more relevant, there is nothing more secure than reading where you're coming from, why we're here, what happened before, so you know what you're going to do next. History is not linear, that's absolutely correct. You can lose whatever you've got as easily as you got it. And believe me, we Greeks, we know about that. That's why we love so much life, because we know the pain. We know how it is to lose. But still, after so many centuries, so many battles, so many difficult moments, we're still here. And this is one of the moments I'm so proud representing my country to all of you. This is my third visit to Hopkinton. Believe me, I'm going to come again. This is the starting point of the marathon, but also the starting point of the values that this country, my country, your country, this community, no matter how small or how big, it represents. And believe me, Athens was quite small back then. But the powerful message, it's still here. So, there's one last remark I want to make. And, back in the last battle of the Persian Wars, the one I started with, the Persians realized what a big mistake it is to unite the Greeks. We, in this world, in this part of the world, we should remain together, united, with our values, with our imperfect system, of course, like the Athenians. It's very messy, like Sunday lunch at any Greek house. It's beautiful, but it's messy. This is us, and being here those days, I feel this is kind of you as well. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity. I'm very thankful for the hospitality and the invitation, and I'll be very proud to deliver those recognitions to those great students here that they realize and they had a chance to see what we're all coming from and what we're fighting for in the next day. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Consul General Tagos. So now we go to the main part of our program, and that is recognizing our student essay contest winners and thanking them and expressing our appreciation for their work and the values that they've expressed in doing so. I'm just going to make a quick note about what we're going to offer our award winners. They will each be receiving a Marathon Wreath Award, which is in those pretty blue boxes. They will be receiving, first and foremost, they will be receiving a certificate signed by the Consul General on behalf of the government of Greece, thanking them for their participation. They will also receive a Marathon Wreath Award, and they will also receive a book. And the book is a very interesting book because it's about our part of the country, the connection between Marathon and our part of the country. There's a famous Greek marathoner who won the 1946 marathon. His name is Stylianos Kyriakidis. He ran the marathon and won it when people thought he was going to die on the racetrack because he was so emaciated after World War II. But his story, his beautiful, powerful story, is in the brochures that I ask that you take. And the most important thing, one of the most important things about Stylianos Kyriakidis is that he created the charitable run. He was the first runner who ran a marathon who said, I'm not running for myself. I am running to do something good for my country because my country, after World War II was destroyed by the Nazis, needs support. So I'm going to go to the United States and I'm going to win the Boston Marathon to tell people about how they need to help Greece. He was the first runner who ever ran for a cause. And now we know, we all take it for granted, how many thousands of runners run every year for something that's very important to them. That's the power of an idea. And that idea was born from one person. So every one of you students here, you may have an idea that will change the world and do beautiful things. And that is the power that Stylianos Kyriakidis represented when he created the charitable run. So I just wanted to, so those are the gifts that will come. And so I'm going to go through the students now one by one. And I'll ask you to bear with me for a second. Our very first student, unfortunately, could not be here. Ryan Corbett is a 7th grader in Ashland. And Ryan could not be here tonight with us, but he told us that he enjoys art and English language arts and music. He is currently performing The Musical. I don't know which musical is being played specifically, and he'd like to pursue creative arts and engineering. And so we will make sure that Ryan gets his prizes, and we say thank you to Ryan. So the first winner that we'd like to call up is Rakshana Raja. The principals of the Ashland Middle School and the Hopkinton Middle School to come forward and to help us distribute the awards to their students. Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you I was going to put you guys to work, but. Rakshana, we asked each award winner to answer 3 questions for us. So Rakshana, her favorite subject is math because it comes easy for her. In high school, she thinks it will be biology. She loves to sketch and to make art. She loves to run and to do track as well. When she grows up, she wants to be a pediatrician. She loves helping people and she loves kids. And she also loves biology. So congratulations, Rakshana. Okay, our next award winner is John Kale. Thank you. Our next winner is John Kale. John's favorite subject in school is math because it shows how you can use formulas and rules to solve problems. To John, math problems are like intuitive puzzles with a mystery answer. Outside of school, John enjoys competitive swimming and town soccer. At home, he also enjoys building computers and spending time with his family. When John grows up, his goal is to get a scholarship in swimming. He'd like to study computer engineering or work in the video game creation industry. However, if he is good enough, he'd also like to be a professional swimmer. Congratulations, John. Our last fourth grade winner from Ashland is Hannah Cox. Hannah's favorite subjects in school are social studies and English language arts. She likes to draw and play tennis when she is not in school. She would like to be an artist or an author when she grows up. Congratulations, Hannah. Okay, so we'll move to the seventh grade winners from Hopkinton. Our first winner from Hopkinton is Alika Purma. Alika's favorite subject in school is math. Outside of math, she likes to read and figure skate. And she would like to do astrobiology as her profession when she grows up. Congratulations. Okay. Our next winner from Hopkinton is Ishana Kurana. Ishana's favorite subject is English. She likes to swim, freestyle and backstroke. She likes to read, especially fantasy books, and she likes to bake. She hopes to work in the medical field someday. Congratulations, Ishana. Our next winner from Hopkinton is Tav Chung. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, Tav Chung. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Sony, may you come first? I'm sorry. Sony Siriponia. Sony's favorite subject in school is geography. Outside of school, she likes working out. And when she grows up, she'd like to be a veterinarian. Congratulations, Sony. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I misread before. And our last winner from the town of Hopkinton in 7th grade is Tav Chung. Tav? Tav's favorite subjects in school are English and science. Outside of school, he likes to read, play, and watch baseball, hang out with his friends, and play video games. When he grows up, he would like to be some sort of engineer. Congratulations, Tav. Okay, great. So the 7th graders wrote about the relevance of the Battle of Marathon and why would an Athenian have stopped and fought rather than given up the city. Our 8th grade essay prompt is a little different. It's in the book, and it's drawing the connection. Please draw a connection or express your thoughts on the connection between the ancient Greek democracy and the democracy that we practice in the United States of America. This was a 700-word essay, and the judges, actually with all essays, had a very difficult time. We had judges who are educators from the Examined Life program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Examined Life program, but it's a wonderful program that we work with closely that trains middle and high school teachers as to how to incorporate the classics into their schoolwork. Examined Life scholars were our judges, and they were all very enthusiastic and happy to judge, but they had a very hard time picking winners. They really did. And several of them said, Nick, I had no idea that it would be this difficult. Really, only 4 per school? And I said, yes, only 4 per school. And so these are exceptional essays. But our first winner from Ashland in the 8th grade is Nina Anoop. Nina's favorite subject in school is maths. She loves to dance. She loves dance class and dancing, and it's one of her favorite things to do outside of reading books. In the future, she'd like to go into the medical field and become a doctor. Congratulations, Anu. Our next winner from Ashland is Chloe Berry. Chloe's favorite subject is English. Outside of school, she likes to read and spend time with her friends. When she is older, she'd like to succeed as a patent attorney. Congratulations. I didn't know what a patent attorney was when I was in the 7th grade. I barely know now. But great. So thank you. Our next winner from Ashland is Grace Jakes. Grace's favorite subject in school are math and civics history. Outside of school, she takes 10 dance classes each week and plays basketball. She also enjoys hanging out with her friends and traveling. When she is older, she would like to be a lawyer or a doctor. Her goal is to go to Harvard Medical School or Harvard Law School. Okay, congratulations, Dave. And our last 8th grade winner from Ashland is Sophia Wanetsky. Congratulations, Sophia. Sophia's favorite subject is math. She likes to swim and run track and cross country when she's not in school. And when she grows up, she would like to be an anesthesiologist. Congratulations, Sophia. Okay, so our 4 8th grade Hopkinton winners. Our first winner is Sophia Castonguay. Sophia's favorite subject in school is civics and science. Outside of school, she enjoys playing soccer and softball. She would like to work in the science field in the future, specifically neurology. Congratulations. Our next winner is Hasika Chauhan. Hasika Chauhan. Her favorite subject in school is math and violin. She likes to run, play piano, and draw when she's not in school. She would like to be in the medical field. More specifically, she'd like to be a pediatric oncologist. Our next winner is Rudra Pachori. Rudra's favorite subject in school are math, civics, and science. Outside of school, he enjoys painting and playing tennis. And for his profession, he would like to become a neurosurgeon or a cardiac surgeon. And our last winner, alphabetically, or from 8th grade in Hopkinton, is Arsha Tharakabushama. Arsha's favorite subjects are math, English, and French. Outside of school, she plays professional table tennis and sings. And for her profession, she would like that to be in a creative field. Right now, she likes architecture. Congratulations, Arsha. So those are our students, and we all should be very proud of them and the work they've done. And may we have a round of applause for all of our students together.